Well, our lead story tonight, Prime Minister Modi's new cabinet hit the ground running. The first cabinet meeting held at 5 o'clock this evening and big decisions announced after that at the cabinet briefing addressed by two new ministers and the agriculture minister. This included an emergency COVID response package of 23,123 crores, also a centre to give 15,000 crores and states to allocate 8,000 crores. Pediatric departments in 736 districts. The new health minister said the impact of COVID on children was discussed at the cabinet meeting and 20,000 new ICU beds. Also, an agriculture investment fund, a 1 lakh crore package for farmers, which means that APMC or state marketing boards can actually access this fund and will be strengthened in the outreach the government is making to farmers.
सेकंड वेव्स में हमें जो दिक्कतें हमारे सामने आई, जो समस्याएं हमारे सामने आई, वो भविष्य में हमारे सामने इस स्थिति को हम भविष्य में कैसे निपटे, उसके लिए 23,000 करोड़ रुपीस का एक पैकेज है। ये पैकेज में कुल मिला के केंद्र सरकार और राज्य सरकार दोनों साथ में मिलके उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करेंगे और ये पैसा स्टेट को दिया जाएगा।
अवसंरचना फंड 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए का आत्मनिर्भर भारत के अंतर्गत प्रावधान किया गया है। उस 1 लाख करोड़ के फंड का उपयोग ये एपीएमसी कर सकेंगी। मंत्रिपरिषद के निर्णय के अनुसार एपीएमसी भी अब उसके लिए पात्र होंगी और वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड का अपने संसाधन बढ़ाने की दृष्टि से किसानी के लिए अधोसंरचना उपलब्ध कराने की दृष्टि से उपयोग कर सकेंगी।
And Sanket now looks actually at the big cabinet changes. We saw there those decisions announced. The Council of Ministers is also meeting right now. The new Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister as well. Here's what actually lies behind some of the choices made by the Prime Minister.
So what is the reason for the elevation and also the removal of many of the Modi ministers? Let's first talk about Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, who has got a big portfolio. What is not commonly known is that the government wants a massive push to the BharatNet scheme. BharatNet scheme basically means providing internet to all villages, and the government now wants to follow a PPP model. Mr. Vaishnav specializes in public-private partnership, and that is why perhaps he has landed this job. Among other things, they want a tactful handling of the big tech mess. However, they are backing this decision because it is the government's decision and not Mr. Prasad's decision. His administrative experience is useful as far as his handling of the rail ministry is concerned. Let's quickly listen in to what he had to say.
सर, आईटी मिनिस्टर के सामने सबसे बड़े कॉन्फ्लिक्ट था ट्विटर के साथ जो पैट चल रहा है, आपका क्या कहना है? क्या सोशल मीडिया आईटी गाइडलाइंस को मानेगा कि जो विवाद चल रहा है?
आपके सारे के सारे प्रश्न, उन्हीं प्रश्नों में आपका जवाब है। देश के कानून के साथ सभी को उसका पालन करना चाहिए। जो देश का कानून है, देश का कानून सबको पालन करना चाहिए।
लेकिन डेडलाइन तो निकल के तब भी नहीं कर रहे हो।
Let's also talk about Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. What is not commonly known about his exit, he was struggling to implement this very ambitious Modi pet project called BharatNet program of making sure that internet reaches all the villages. In fact, he was also, this Internet for All Villages program had missed a second deadline of June 2021. His functioning as the law minister was also in question. Now let's talk about Mr. Prakash Javadekar. Well, among the things that are less known or not commonly known is his poor track record as the environment minister. Environment ministry was supposed to strategize, which was still unclear ahead of COP26. He also dropped the ball on ending single-use plastic, which was a huge government program in 2019 when Modi 2.0 came to power. So the task for the next minister, Bhupendra Yadav, who has assumed office today, is cut out. Let's now talk about the health minister, Mansukh Mandavia. Many people think that he is from a pole-bound Gujarat and that's the reason for his elevation. Well, Mandavia earned the Prime Minister's praise as a shipping minister for the manner in which these cryogenic oxygen tankers were brought in during the peak of the second wave, and how all of this was done silently. All this crisis management was done silently. So the Prime Minister feels that it is very, very important to have a silent crisis manager at the time of a pandemic. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने मुझे स्वास्थ्य मंत्रालय की जिम्मेवारी दी गई है। स्वास्थ्य मंत्री के रूप में प्रधानमंत्री जी की अपेक्षा के अनुसार मैं काम करने की कोशिश करूंगा।
But also on a day that the new ministers took charge, the big shock, of course, for everyone was that fuel prices hiked once again, this time in Delhi also, CNG up as well. So you've now got petrol above a century in all India's major metros and in some parts above 106 rupees as well. The new minister said he's going to look at the complexities of high prices before he comments on it.
The new petroleum and natural gas minister and his biggest challenge right now, skyrocketing fuel prices.
You will agree it will be very wrong for me to comment on it when I just stepped into this building 15 minutes ago. If you give me at least a few days to try and understand the complexity of the work.
Do people think a new minister can change things?
No, nothing will change. Even a lay person, a guy who wants to come, who's coming to even clean your house, even he's having a problem coming because it changes by like 100 or 200 bucks. Every rupee matters for them.
कि जितने भी मिनिस्टर हैं कहने को मिनिस्टर है, कंट्रोल तो मोदी जी के हाथ में है। मिनिस्टर अपना स्वतंत्र कोई निर्णय ले सकते हैं क्या? कोई मिनिस्टर आज के रेट में कोई बदलाव नहीं होने वाला, पेट्रोल का दाम ऐसे बढ़ते ही जाएगा।
But why do prices keep going up? Experts say that fuel rates are revised in tandem with global oil rates. Demand for oil is now on the rise globally as economies are opening up. Government can either fix tax amount on fuel so it doesn't rise when base price rises, or subsidize oil companies so prices are not raised for consumer.
Every day increasing fuel prices are not only burning a hole in the pocket of the consumers but also pushing the inflation to an all-time high. Now all eyes will be on the administration of Hardeep Singh Puri as he takes charge of the Petroleum Ministry with the hope that the government takes some decisions to provide respite to the common man. With camera person Sushil Rathi, I'm Akshay Dongre, Find TV.
Meanwhile, in other news, on a day the new IT minister said that Twitter has to follow the law of the land. There was also a setback as the Delhi High Court also told Twitter that they will not enjoy legal protection if they don't follow India's new IT rules, which includes clauses like appointing compliance officers based in the country. This came after Twitter told the court that it has an interim officer who is a resident of India but want for 2 months more to appoint a full-time grievance officer. Meanwhile, today the Supreme Court also rejected Facebook's plea to not appear before the Delhi Assembly. The top court told Facebook that social media platforms have the power to influence people, they have the potential to polarize society, and that the Delhi Assembly panel has the right to seek information on any matter, though they can choose not to ignore questions. The Supreme Court also made statements saying that the centre and the Delhi government must work together, especially in sensitive matters like the Delhi riots. Well, the other big headline, a tax fight over retrospective tax has escalated as a French court has apparently allowed Cairn Energy to seize India-owned properties in France in order for to actually fulfill a $1.2 billion award which an international arbitration panel had given to Cairn Energy, ordering India to reverse a retrospective tax demand. Cairn Energy says their strong preference remains an amicable settlement with the government of India. They said they submitted a series of proposals to the government since February this year, but the finance ministry says they've got no notice or order from the French court and they will seek a legal remedy when the order is received. Well, moving now to the other big political headline coming out of Uttar Pradesh, and these are shots of gunfires, lathi, as there have been actual violence at the filing of Bloc Pramukh nomination. Now, these are really local elections. You can see there the violence, gunfire, lathis across different parts of Uttar Pradesh. But really what's the most shocking footage has been of this woman supporter of the Samajwadi Party. So you can see there people pulling her, actually pulling her sari. Akhilesh Yadav has tweeted condemning this. The BJP says that it's the opposition is trying to create chaos, but disturbing scenes at what's happening currently at Bloc Pramukh elections, the nominations for Bloc Pramukh elections. Well, let's go across to what's the latest in COVID numbers, and there's some early worrying signs because there's been a rise in active cases the first time in nearly 2 months. More states are reporting a rise in active cases. On July the 6th, we had 5 states in union territories reporting a rise, but today on the 8th of July, 11 states and union territories are reporting a rise in active cases. This as vaccinations are continuing to fall. So, though there have been over 37 lakh vaccinations today, that's still way below what was our high just over a week ago. So again, worrying signs there which experts are cautioning people about. But meanwhile, look at these visuals. These are coming in from Mussoorie's Kempty Falls, and the government referred to revenge tourism, and here we see it. Crowds of tourists at Mussoorie's famous Kempty Falls escaping high temperatures in the plains, but a huge worry when we are trying to control COVID and avoid a third wave. Well, moving to our special series on NDTV, while the focus has been to open shopping malls, to open markets, to get the economy back on track, one really big aspect is being ignored, and that's of education of our children. While online classes are continuing for the privileged few, the fact remains that in state after state, many children are being left behind because they have no access to online classes or digital devices. This special report from Rajasthan, where teachers in some cases are using camels to reach remote villages, but in other cases, children are just being left behind.
A procession of camels in the sand dunes of Barmer. These are government school teachers going to a remote hamlet in Rajasthan's westernmost district to teach children where mobile networks don't reach.
जो ऑफलाइन स्टूडेंट हैं उनको आओ घर से सीखें अभियान के तहत जो बच्चे ऑफलाइन हैं उनको हमारी शिक्षकों की टीम द्वारा घर घर जाकर जो घरों के ऊपर घर हैं जो दूर है नेटवर्क नहीं है वहां पर ऊँट के माध्यम से जो टीचर जाकर उनको बच्चों को पढ़ा रहे हैं.
Data from the Education Department suggests of the 83 lakh children in government schools, only 33 lakh could join online classes. The rest learned through classes held on TV and radio. But despite that, 13 lakh children could be left behind in the digital divide.
हमारी दानिया दौरा में इसलिए नेटवर्क नहीं पकड़ता है इसलिए गुरुजी ऊंट पर सवार होके आते हैं हमको पढ़ाते हैं.
50 kilometers from Jaipur and Jamwa Ramgarh, a class being held under a tree. Most children in this small hamlet have no access to smartphones and have been missing from education for over a year and a half now.
मेरे पिताजी गुजरात में मजदूरी करते हैं मेरी माता भी रोजाना मजदूरी करने जाती है इसीलिए हमारे पास कोई फ़ोन नहीं है इसीलिए हम पढ़ नहीं पाते. मेरे पापा काम करते हैं फ़ोन को साथ ले जाते हैं रात को लेट आते हैं इसलिए नेटवर्क की दिक्कत है इसलिए मैं और मेरी बहन पढ़ नहीं पाते हैं.
Teachers have identified these hamlets and visit them in rotation.
हमारे जो ज़्यादातर विद्यार्थी वो गरीब तबके से आते हैं किसी के पापा मजदूरी करते हैं तो वो बाहर रहते हैं ज़्यादातर किसी के प्रतिदिन जाते हैं और नेटवर्क का भी यहाँ पर इश्यू है सबके पास फ़ोन भी उपलब्ध नहीं है तो हम जैसे घर घर जाके बच्चों का होमवर्क चेक करने के लिए जाते हैं देखते हैं तो ज़्यादातर बच्चे जुड़ नहीं पा रहे हैं शिक्षा से. तो हमने सोचा क्यों नहीं हम इनकी ढाणियों में जाकर इनकी क्लास लगाएं. 4 घंटे की हम क्लास लेते हैं तो बच्चों को होमवर्क भी हम सप्ताह में 2 बार दे पाते हैं.
Through this initiative, teachers are able to give homework and assess it every week so that children don't lag behind in their schooling. With Kanhaiya Lal Dalora in Barmer, in Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.